this video, I want to walk through what a mid-year review is, why it's so important, how to do it, and then give you a bunch of really helpful reflection questions that you can use to ponder where you are at as well. How is it the middle of the year already? I am just kind of shaking my head in awe that half of the year has already flown by. Let me know in the comments if you are wondering that same thing, right? But it's also the perfect opportunity to step back, really reflect upon how the first half of the year has gone, do a mid-year review, check in with your goals, and set the next 6 months up for success. I'm Amber with Solutions for Simplicity. This channel is the place to be for getting your life together and really implementing science-backed strategies to do more, stress less, so that you can free up more time and energy for who and what you love. If you're not already subscribed, be sure and click that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified every time I make a new video. Big thanks to Clever Fox for sponsoring today's video. Their 90-day Ultimate Achievers Undated Goal Planner is so invaluable for helping you think about what you want to achieve, really plan out how and when you are going to do that, review your progress each week, keep track of your habits each day, and so much more. I cannot recommend this highly enough. I have long been a fan of Clever Fox planners, as I have reviewed in other videos. I will have a full-blown review of this planner coming soon, but in the meantime, there is a link in the description so that you can check it out for yourself. There is also a special discount code for you, and be sure and stay tuned to the end of this video because I made you a little freebie that you are not going to want to miss if you are serious about achieving your goals. You've probably heard of a mid-year review before. It's pretty commonplace in the work arena, right? You might work for an employer that asks you to set performance goals for the year or has their own set of criteria on which you are evaluated. And so usually there's some sort of annual review and maybe a mid-year check-in as well to see how things are going and if there are any areas for improvement. Well, the same kind of concept transfers over to your personal life. And if you have not done this before, it is really essential that you start, because reflecting on not only where you've been and what you've gone through, but what is and is not going well is essential for then clearing your plate, resetting your mindset, right? And really then putting your goals back front and center, adjusting them as necessary, and figuring out where you are going to go from here on out. If we only set big yearly or annual goals, it's really easy to lose sight of those, right? You're very aware of that tendency to set some big New Year's resolution or have a big goal that is so important to you at one point in time. But if you are not constantly checking in, tracking your progress, holding yourself accountable, maybe working with an accountability partner or group or coach, then it's really easy to fall off track. And even in the best scenario, there is inevitably just stuff that comes up, right? Life happens, and what we intend to do, what we plan on doing, doesn't always work out. I sure know that. Let me know in the comments if you have seen some things thrown off in the start of this year yourself. But the point is that this is the perfect opportunity to put all of that behind you and really just focus on moving forward. Yes, July and the middle of the year is ultimately an arbitrary time point, right? You don't need a new day, week, month, or year, right, in order to start fresh and have that clean slate. But in our minds, it still is just kind of symbolic that half of the year has gone by, the other half is still waiting for us to reach our potential. What are you hoping to accomplish? Let me know in the comments below what some of your big yearly goals were, and if you are revising those or wanting to make any new goals for the second half of the year. Multiple studies have pointed out that doing these regular reviews is crucial for success and really helps ensure that you are reaching more of your goals than you otherwise would. If you are not checking in with yourself or on others and having someone check in on you, then it's all too easy to forget to do the important things that are going to get you where you want to go. So how do you do a mid-year review? There is ultimately no right or wrong way, right? The point is just for you to sit down and think about what is applicable to your situation, reflect back on your big goals, and so forth. But I've put together a bunch of really helpful exercises and questions that I want to walk through in this video to hopefully help you conduct the best assessment possible. So first things first. Start by thinking back to the big goals that you set at the beginning of the year, right? What did you want this year to be about? What did you want to accomplish? Hopefully, you made some New Year's resolutions or set some goals, or better yet, turned them into commitments and set forth a plan for how you were going to make those goals reality. But we all know that you can have the best intentions, you can have the best laid plans, and things just kind of still come up and can get derailed, right? So at this point, this is the perfect opportunity to think about what percentage of the way you are towards reaching the goals you originally set. Then really be critical but objective and ask yourself what, if anything, has limited or paused your progress. Lay out the list of whatever has happened and then go back through and determine which of these things were in your control, which were not. It is so easy to wrap up your identity and your self-worth in your accomplishments, your achievements. I wrestle with this to this day, right? And yet I hope you know by now, I'm a broken record. I'm so adamant in repeating that your inherent value, belonging, and self-worth have nothing to do with what you do or don't do, right? Nothing changes how wonderful you are. So while you might feel some emotions come up and you might naturally tend to give yourself a hard time if you're not where you thought you would be by now, please just recognize those emotions are not reality and that no matter how you're feeling in this moment, there's still plenty of time to do incredible things. And even if you somehow get to the end of the year and don't feel like you have accomplished that much, right? That doesn't change how wonderful you are. Then here's a really key question. Do your original goals still light the same fire under you? Do they still feel right? Are they still things that you want to go after, or are you feeling pulled in a different direction? Do they somehow feel obsolete or less important? It is totally okay to let go of things that aren't serving you. And so if some of your original goals no longer mean as much or don't feel like they still apply, then this is the time to let them go. Similarly, is there anything you want to add or revise? Maybe you have some additional goals that you've come up with or that now feel really important, right? They're on your heart. Or maybe you want to just kind of go back and you've got a little more perspective. You can be a little bit more realistic about what goals you can or cannot feasibly accomplish this year. Go back now and really think through what, if anything, needs to be changed. Again, there is just no shame in letting go of what's not serving you, moving forward in a different direction, and discerning what is right here and now. Now, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of this video for that special freebie that will help you apply all of these questions and this review process for yourself. Next, what words describe the way you feel about the first half of the year? Either ways that you would describe yourself or the way things have gone, right? Make a list of those and then make a second list of the words you want to describe the second half of the year. How do you want the second half of the year to go? And how do you want to feel by the end? Perhaps the most important part of doing a mid-year review is really giving credit where credit is due. I hope that you have been tracking your progress and really keeping a record of your wins all along. But a lot of times I think we think we'll remember how things have gone and we're not maybe keeping track of things as we ought to be. Side note, I've made previous videos on how to track your progress, why tracking is so important, some of the resources that I use for tracking things on a regular basis. You can do this by hand, you can do it on a computer, you can use an app. The point is that it's really helpful to have the objective data to go back and analyze to know where you started from and where you are currently at. But whether you have been doing this or not, I want you to make a list of all of your wins. What have you achieved personally, professionally, in your family life, maybe your marriage, with your children if you are a parent, with your social relationships, friends or extended family, your health or fitness, your financial situation, your spiritual goals, and all kinds of other wins as are applicable to you. No matter how small these might seem, it's really important to list them out because your brain will be so amazed seeing it all on paper, and you will recognize that you really have done so much thus far. Day in and day out, it's really easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere. But if you have hopefully established a baseline from the beginning, you will then see that you have had a lot of progress, and that can build further momentum for doing even more in the future. Once you've made a list of all of your wins, go back and pinpoint the one that you are most proud of. Of all that you've done, what are you most excited to have accomplished and why? At this point, it's also really important that you do come to terms with any areas where you feel like a failure. And yes, I'm using the air quotes because failure is never reality, right? There is no such thing as failing, only opportunities for learning, for reflecting, for growing and improving from here on out. And that's part of what this mid-year review, this reflection, is meant to help you accomplish. It's so helpful to acknowledge the feelings and the thoughts that you have about your current situation, really reconcile the gap, if there is any, between what you thought you would have done, where you thought you would be, and where you are. And then, again, let that go so that you can start fresh and get that clean blank slate moving forward. Part of coming to terms with any perceived failures is then acknowledging things that you could have perhaps done a little bit better. What could you improve upon? And here, right, the point is not to give yourself a hard time. It is to think creatively. Brainstorm anything and everything that did and did not seem to work in the past so that you can then figure out better ways of doing what you want to do in the future. The next several questions are a little less goal related, but more about you personally. What do you most want to remember from the first half of the year? How do you feel like you have changed or grown? Overall, how are you different now than you were 6 months ago? Then, looking forward, what other things are on the horizon for the rest of this year? What can you do now to plan or prepare for those big things? In other words, how can you make those moments even easier before they happen? And are there any adjustments to your current routine that you think would be beneficial? Let me know in the comments if I missed any questions and if there's something that you think would be really helpful to include in a mid-year review. Now, I of course want to make this as easy as possible for you, so I have put together a special mid-year reflection packet with multiple pages of different prompts, questions, guided exercises, ways for you to assess where you're at in different areas of your life, track your wins, do all the things that we've talked about. It's completely free. I put a link in the description, and I hope you'll check it out just so that you have something easy to turn to and walk you through this process. Remember, there is no right or wrong way to do a mid-year review. Everything I have offered here is just meant to guide you. These are simply suggestions. And if you have any other questions that you would recommend we include, please drop those in the comments so that we can all benefit. If you got value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and then jump straight into this video for more of my top goal setting tips to ensure that you set the rest of the year up for as much success as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back soon.